Hello, my name is Leroy Blevins. Welcome to Mysteries and Histories. In this episode here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about altering again because I had a nice conversation with a man on Facebook this morning. And, he has some good points and stuff like that. But, you know, he's one that still believes in that the films and images is altered, like a lot of people out there do, believe in the films and images is altered. So what I'm going to do in this video here is I'm going to go into a little bit of detail and explain on, films and images was never altered. Okay. Now I'm going to go into details on if you're going to alter an image, this is what you have to do. Okay. So I got a few frames up, a few pictures and stuff like that. So I could point this out. Okay. Now, in this Zapruder film for years, which I'll pull this frame up, frame 313 is Zapruder film. It shows JFK's right side of his head opening up. Now, a lot of people says, "Oh no, this has been altered. The Zapruder film's been altered, and this film's been altered, or this image has been altered." Excuse me, to fit their story. Okay. Now, as a researcher, okay, I don't send none of my work out to nobody else. And say, "Hey, can you look over this for me?" Or could you, analyze this for me or anything else? And then as a researcher, I'm going to take what they put in there, and this is what I'm going to use as my evidence because they told me. Okay, I don't do none of that. All the research that I do, I go over documents myself. I go over the reports myself. I analyze all the films and images myself. I don't send nothing out because I base on everything on what I find and what I see, not what someone tells me. But anyway, this Pruder film, they said, oh, it's been altered because the back of JFK's head exploded. Not, because eyewitnesses said this. But you got to take consideration, eyewitnesses never made these claims until after the fact and until years later. That's when they start talking about the back of JFK's head opening up, not the right side. Okay, but we're going to talk about altering. Now, for me or anybody, even in the past, to alter one frame in an image or a film, okay, we're going to alter an image, okay, there is a lot of process you have to do. Okay, you think, well, I just go ahead and take this one frame, alter it, and there you go. No, you wouldn't have to. You have to do a lot more. I would have to alter one frame in any of the films. I would have to have the Zapruder film, the Muchmore film, the Nix film, the Bronson film, and any other image was taken around. I have to have all these filmed together at one time and have to line each one of these up so I can see all the frames and line them all up with one another just to alter one, because I not only have to alter the Zapruder film, I have to alter the Nix film, I have to alter the Muchmore film, I have to alter the Bronson film, I have to alter all these films together at once. Okay. Now, to do this, I have to have all the films and all the images together in one place at one time. And this is all the originals, not the copies, all the originals. However, all the originals are never in one place at one time. Okay, like the Zapruder film. The Zapruder film was filmed on the day of assassination. It was developed that same day, and it was sent. And Mr. Zapruder got his original film back and everything on the same day. Okay, because he sold it the next morning to Time magazine. Okay, so he already got, excuse me, he already got his film back on the day of assassination, the original one, and then the copies that the FBI, CIA, and all of them got. Okay, now we go Mary Mormon. They got a copy of her picture on the same day. Okay, and they gave it back to her, and they went there a couple more times after that. I think 3 more times, and got it, and then gave it back to her. But now the Nix film was never in the same place with the Zapruder film. Never. Because Orville Nix didn't turn his film in until December. Okay, this is way after the assassination. In the first week of December is when he turned his film over, which they developed it. After they developed it, they took the copies and they gave him back his original. Okay, this is how this process works. Just like the Bronze film, they didn't get it right then and there with this Zapruder film or nothing. So all these films is coming in, all these images coming in, days in between or weeks in between each other. So they was never in the same place at the same time. So all these films and images cannot be altered, because for me to alter one frame, like I point out, you have to have all these at one time in your possession and alter one frame. You have to alter the films, you have to alter this and alter that, which I'm going to show you. Okay, we have the Zapruder film, frame 313. We can see the intact of back of JFK's head still intact, just the right side opening up. Okay, now we have the next film. When we zoom in, oh, let me go back. When we zoom in, still the back of JFK's intact. Back of JFK's head is still intact. Okay, and this frame, this is the fatal headshot to JFK. Okay, and as I point out in this frame, we can see the shot being fired from the shelter here, and this is what took out the side of JFK's head. I line frame 26 with frame 313. They both line up perfectly. The people inside the vehicle and the people surrounding the vehicle and everything else like that, and people on the outskirts stuff, they all line up the same as we do in the Zapruder film. Now we're going to go to the Mormon photo. Okay, what do we see here when we zoom in on the Mormon photo, which I'm going to point up right here? Here we have the back of JFK's head. You see it's still intact. The right side, now remember, she took her image right after the fatal headshot. Okay, back side of JFK's head is still intact. The right side is opened up because you can see part of the scalp right here with blood and brain matter right here where his right side of his head opened up. Okay, now what you have to do, people understand, again, like I pointed out, even got a frame from the Bronson film, which again we see the shot being fired from the shelter and stuff, and JFK's head, right side of his head opens up. So see, JFK, the back of JFK's head was never opened up. That was opened up after the fact. Now remember, the autopsy images was not taken in Dallas. Then was taken in Washington. Okay, so now we have to look at the fact of, well, at Parkland, the stuff they did at Parkland, okay, and then transporting the body to Washington and what they did when the body went to Washington. We have to look at all this first before we can say, oh, well, let's make our decision on, look at the gashing hole in the throat, or, you know, the back of JFK's head open up. Because even I pointed out in the beginning that all the doctors did not see JFK's head open up in the back, okay? This is a fact. There was like 22 to 26 doctors said they seen a gashing hole in the back of JFK's head, which is false information there, because all these doctors could not have seen it, because all these doctors was not even in that room at that time. Just a couple of doctors, a few nurses, and a lot of FBI agents and Secret Service agents and police was in that room. Okay, now we don't have the nurses saying that they seen the head open up in the back. We just have the doctors saying this now. Look, think about this for a minute. Just the doctors, not the nurses, the doctors. And we have the police officers and Secret Service agents and stuff like that. They never said nothing about the back of the head being open up, just a side. Okay, why alter one image here to hide a shot, which is stupid as well. Okay, why alter an image to hide what's already there? Everybody knows JFK's head was exploded open. Okay, why change the angle of it? Because he was shot from the right, not from the front, but from the right. Okay, they knew this. Okay, but like I said, you cannot alter an image. You cannot base everything on, well, this person sent this out to this analyst here, and this analyst sent it back, says, yeah, this film was altered. You also have to think about the process that they did with this Zapruder film. Zapruder film, it usually takes a good week to actually do this film, you know, develop this film. It takes a slow process because it's a double-sided film, okay? You got one side here, one side here. We got side A and side B. It's a double-sided film. They have to cut that down the center and everything else. And then they have to, you know, do all of this, okay, which people don't understand. And they did a fast process on it. That's why some of the colors look a little blurry here and there, and some things look out of line, is because it was a fast process. Now, if they did a slow process on it, okay, and did the normal way of developing it like they're supposed to, then a lot of this stuff wouldn't even been out to begin with, because you would have more details in the film and everything else. Just like these researchers come out and says, oh, well, I seen the other Zapruder film. Okay, so that proves that this was altered. Where's their evidence at? Where is this other Zapruder film that they talk about? Believe you me, if I was there and I seen a difference between a film, I'm going to take images of it. One way or another, hey, can I have a copy of this while we're here, you know what I'm saying? Or can I have an image, can I take a snapshot of this or one thing or another? But researchers don't do that. They're going to say, oh, well, I want to tell you right now that I seen the other film. Where's your evidence at? When you was there, why didn't you take a picture of it? Why didn't you, take an image of it? Or take some kind of evidence to show that there was different frames? But they can't, okay, because they know this is a story that was made up. Just like a lot of people that started the altering. Now, if you go back to where the altering got started, you'll see these certain people say the film was altered. But then you go fast forward in today, now they're saying that the film was never altered. Just like, they point out that here's another thing they claim was altered. Just like here we have the alt-gen image number 6. They said this is altered because we don't see the hole in the windshield right here. We don't see it in this image. So this proves that this image was altered. Now, if I was going to alter this image here, okay, and there was a frontal shot and it went through the window and everything else like that, as they claim, I would have to alter this image here. But not only would I have to alter this image here, I would have to go into the Zapruder film now. And then I would have to go into the frames, okay, and I would have to line the alt-gen image number 6 with the frame that was taken at the same time. Okay, so it'll be around, I'll say, we're going to use this as an example. Okay, right about here, we're going to say frame 248. This lines up with the alt-gen image. Now I have to alter that image. Okay, now I have to alter this frame here. However, this frame, as we see here, does not have no bullet hole in it whatsoever. No bullet hole. Okay. Now, not only would I have to alter this frame now, I would have to go to every other frame after this and alter this image. Okay. No bullet hole still. Alter this image. No bullet hole still. Alter this image here. No bullet hole still. Alter this image here. I would have to alter each one of these frames. Look at all these frames that's going by and we still see no bullet hole. And here's frame 268. We started, that's already 20 frames I would have to alter. Then I'll have to keep on altering until we can't see the front of the windshield no more. Like I said, I would have to take the alt-gen image number 6 and line it up with the frame that it was taken at the same time. Okay, so I can have 2 different angles here. So when I alter this one image, I have to alter all these frames here now in the Zapruder film. Then I have to line up the next film, which I have to line up when that image was taken, and line that up with the next film, and alter all them frames there. Then I have to go into the bronze film and do the same thing. Then I have to go into the much more film and do the same thing. So you see what I'm saying? To alter just one image on one frame, I would have to have all these in my process and all these in my hands at the same time, and I have to line every one of them up. And then when I do the altering in that one frame, then I've got to go ahead and alter this and alter that. Just like when I point out before, when it comes to altering images, okay, if there's going to alter an image, okay, and this is the truth, whether people want to believe it or not, but this, you got to think about this for a minute. If there's going to alter an image, or frames or whatever, and it was going to alter this film here, all right, we're going to start right here. Why didn't they alter this frame here? Okay, this frame here, when we see right here, is where a shot, one of those distraction shots, hit the side of the concrete of the manhole cover and a piece of concrete flying up. Then the manhole cover goes back to normal. Then we go ahead again and we go to the next frame, which is 401, and we see a bullet strike the top corner of the concrete of the manhole cover, another piece of concrete flying up. And then the next frame after that, 402, we see now we see the bullet ricocheting upward. Okay, if I was going to alter an image, why didn't they alter these images? Why didn't they take these images out? Just like when you keep on going through and you see a bullet strike this line, I'm going to pull it up here a little bit. The sign on the slant post here. Okay, we could go through each one of the frames. As you noticed, There's nothing there that can glow around that frame, you know, around that sign. But then we see a shot hit that frame and ricocheting off at the same time. Why wasn't that altered? Because next frame after that and the frames before that all don't have no glowing marks on there. But we can see it right here. If you look at my cursor, right up here, we see the frame here, okay, which I'm going to zoom in right here. We see down here, this is the sign right here, okay. We see nothing glowing around or nothing. But this is the frame above it, which we see the bullet strike and then ricocheting off. Why wasn't that altered? Okay, if I was going to alter a film or image, I would have to go into full details of each frame and everything else, and I would have to alter every single frame. And that to make sure that, you know, we're covering up. Hey, I'm covering up something. I'm supposed to make sure there ain't no shots being able to be seen in this film or, you know, whatever. So I'm going to have to take these frames and I'm going to have to go ahead and alter everything like that before I give it back to Mr. Spruder, because Mr. Spruder's not going to get back yet until I altered everything. And I have all these films and all these images. So Mr. Spruder should never got his film back for 2 years. Dorval Nick's film should never came back to him for about another 2 or 3 years. The Bronson film should never got their film right back after 4 or 5, you know, 2 or 3, 4 years. Same as Mrs. Mary Mormon's photo. She should never got it back. She should have, you know, they should have kept that for another 2 to 3 years so they can alter this one image. So I could put all the frames of the films together, have them all line up, one above the other, okay, one above the other. So it'd be like, I'll be doing this, okay, I want to pull up something here. Okay, let's go down here. I'm just showing you how we would alter something. I would have to come here, okay, and we'll go into here. I would place the film frame here, okay, which I'm going to zoom in. Let me zoom a little bit more. Okay, I'm going to put the Spruder film frame there. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and we're going to have the Nix film underneath of it. Okay, I'm going to have the Spruder frames all the way across here. As you see where my cursor is going all the way across here is going to be all the Spruder film frames. Then I'm going to have all the Nix film frames. Okay, then I'm going to have all the Bronson films frame, which I'm going to put right here. I'm going to have all the Bronson film frames and stuff. Then I'm going to sit there and go where I got the frames and stuff like that, where I'm going to put the Mormon photo right here because it lines up with this frame and it lines up with this frame. So I'm going to put the Mormon photo here. I'm going to take all Jen's image and I'm going to sit here and I'm going to take it and put it over here because it lines up with this frame, this frame, this frame, this frame here from these films. So now I'm going to alter this one so I can go to alter this one, and then I'm going to alter this one, and then I'm going to alter this. So they all line up and be perfect and match with one another. So as the years go by, then no one's going to know something was altered because I'm hiding it now. But this was never done. This process was never done. Okay, this process was never done because of the frames. The films was developed. It was hand right back to them a day or 3 days later. Okay, so they be working with copies now. I would not sit there and try and test, well, we have the copies of film went out, well, let's go ahead and alter it. But then we got this thing right over here to where they have the originals back in their hand and they can make another copies from them originals, which we're going to see that everything's been altered because they're not going to line up. Okay, I want to make this video here to show people that the films and images is never altered. Don't believe in a lot of stories that you're told because remember, they're going to sit there and tell you a story. They're going to sell you the story. They're not going to show you no evidence. Can you explain why you say this film was altered? Okay, don't put me a bunch of words. Come to me, make a video, tell me why is it altered or anything else. Show me how you say this is altered. Just like I said, this Spruder film, they want to use this as film. They want to use these images. There's another thing I want to bring up too. Okay, they want to use the Spruder film. Okay, they're going to say this film has been altered, but they're going to use this film. And I'm going to show you how they're going to use this film. They're going to sit there and say, well, this Spruder film was altered. Okay, the film was altered. However, let's go through this. Oh, there's a bullet hole here, here's a bullet hole here, and here's a bullet hole here. Okay, this shows you that someone was shooting through the sign. Why they want to shoot through a sign? They're not going to make no contact. They're just blowing holes through the sign, you know. Or here's another frame right here. Okay, here it shows a bullet hole in this frame right here. Okay, these are marks on the frames itself. Now they want to sit there and tell you that this film was altered, but they also want to sit there and use this film as evidence, saying, hey, here's bullet holes in the sign. Okay, same thing they do with a lot of other stuff in here. They want to sit there and tell you and tell me that this film was altered, but they're going to sit there and say, hey, look at here. The driver Greer shot JFK, or Governor Connolly shot JFK, or Mrs. Kennedy shot JFK. They want to tell us they're going to use this frame of them shooting him, okay, because the blowhole in the back, they're not going to worry about that. They're going to come up with new theories and more things to say to prove to people, saying this film was altered, this film was altered. But then they want to use this film as evidence, okay? If the film was altered, then you can't use the film as evidence, right? So your point of making of the driver Greer shooting JFK, or Governor Connolly shooting JFK, or Mrs. Kennedy shooting JFK, you can't use that because this film was altered. So see, you can't have it both ways. They want it both ways because some of these researchers that's saying that the films are altered and the images are altered, but they're also the ones that sitting there saying, hey, this person shot JFK, or this person shot JFK, and everything else. You see what I'm saying? And we're going to use the Zapruder film as evidence of showing that JFK was shot, okay? Which I'm going to make a video, which I'll go through more details on the Zapruder film and all of the false claims people has made about the film and stuff like that. But I want to talk about altering films and images. And I hope when I make this video and I post this video, it gives you more insight on these films and images was never altered, because it takes a long, slow process to alter an image or frame. Or, like I said, when you alter one frame, you would have to have all the films together, because you would have to alter them at the same time as you alter the Zapruder film. You would have to alter the images at the same time as you're altering the Zapruder film and the other films at the same time, so they all line up. But like I pointed out, the Zapruder film, we're going to see a certain different colors in it or whatever, because it was a fast process of when they made this film, which I'll go into it when my other video. I'll go into a little bit more of that information when they, rushed to develop this film and how they cut it and everything else. That's why some of the colors are off and stuff. So they're going to pull this out, pull that out, and say, hey, film was altered because of this or because of that, which is not true, because they're not telling you. I am, but they're not going to tell you that, well, I understand why these colors are messed up, because of it was a fast process. Now, if they did a slow process on it and developed the regular way like they're supposed to, then these things wouldn't happen or wouldn't occur in the film. But with them doing a fast process, trying to develop this film within 2 hours and then making their copies and stuff like that, yeah, there's going to be some mess up in the colors and everything else. They're not going to tell you that. Okay, they're just going to say, hey, the film was altered. There you go. Why? Because of this color here. However, this film also shows who shot JFK. It was Mrs. Kennedy. It was the driver Greer. It was Governor Connolly. Okay, I mean, people's going to come up with a lot of stuff. Okay, so I just want to make this video here to explain a little more. These films and images are never altered. Okay, like I said, when you alter it, you got to have all of them together at one time, and it's a long, slow process, because you got to line up every frame, every film together with one another. When you alter one frame, you have to go down this one and alter that frame, and alter that frame and alter that frame. Then you have to come back up again and start the next frame, alter, 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 next frame, alter, alter, alter. Then you have to take the images when it was taken at the same time and line them up with each one of the frames and alter that and alter that and alter that and alter. It's a slow process, and it would take 2 to 3 to maybe 4 or 5 years for them to actually get it right, to alter every film and alter every image and stuff, as the people's claiming out there. And they all have to be together at one time. So these people should never got their films back either the same day or 3 days later or a day later or anything else, because it should have been all done to begin with. Okay, because I'd be doing it sloppy, and then you're going to see that things was altered. So none of these films and none of these images is altered in any way. Like I said, you can believe my research, and you can still think about these films and stuff being altered. Okay, but I'm just explaining to you that the films and images was not altered, and the process you would have to do something like this, it takes a long, slow process, and you have to fully understand that when you're going to make a claim like that, you better understand that how the film was developed first, what type of film it is, who developed it. Was this film and this film together at the same time? Was this film and this film together at the same time? Was this image together with this one? Just like I showed you the Mormon photo. Okay. And Mormon photo was taken right after the fatal headshot. And we can see the back of JFK's head still intact. Okay. In the films, we can still see JFK's head is fully intact. Okay. And for them to cover up just one, like I said, one thing, they would have to have all these films and all these images together. And remember, Mrs. Mormon's photo was never in the same room with Mr. Zapruder's film. Never. The Nix film was never in the same room with the Zapruder film at the same time. I'm talking about the originals now, people. They was never in the same room together. They was taken different places and different copies made all over different locations and everything else. So none of these films and none of these images was actually in the same place at the same time. Thank you. Don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. And down below, don't forget to tell your friends about us. Even share the video, so more people can understand. Thank you and have a pleasant day.